I got internet points right here.
I don't know who we're going live for since Lawrence and Rita aren't going to make it.
No.
Oh, I'm drinking my beer that they gave me too.
Oh, I know. They can watch the recording.
But will they?
Well, I mean,
I don't when I'm not here.
I know you don't.
I try to.
I don't even listen to my own shows, okay?
What? Why don't you listen? I watch my own videos.
Because by the time I'm
like
finished
80 times before I get them edited out.
So because by the time I finished editing it, I'm so sick of my voice that I can't be anywhere near it.
I am so beyond being sick of my voice. I'm now to the point where I'm actually trying to do some voice acting in the car just to like start making my voice better.
Yeah,
Does it work? I don't know.
I stopped listening to my stuff a few months after I started Dollhouse. I'm like, I hate my voice. I really don't like this. So yeah, no.
I like your voice. It works very well.
Aw, well, thank you. I think I sound like a redneck who just climbed out of a trailer, but
no, that's if you go like this and start talking.
I have learned to control it. Yeah, it's it can get real bad. They used to make fun of me in Pennsylvania. That's when I started controlling it. Yeah.
You had a redneck accent in Pennsylvania?
I was born and raised here.
Right. Oh,
yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I was born and raised here. I lived in Pennsylvania for 8 years, but I was born and raised in Fort Worth. I went to a Crowley High School, which is out in the country. Yeah. So
you're like pulling out her, making her pull out her cred.
Yeah, that's my street cred, my white trash street cred.
Here it is, multi-pass and everything.
I mean, I didn't grow up in a trailer, but that's my father's side of the.
I'm so redneck. I grew up in a trailer.
I grew up in the suburbs, but
actually, we're building my mom's Victorian home. We were living in a double wide. So, I mean, does that count?
I mean, yeah, but
we had cows that kept trampling through, and yeah, it was weird.
Into a double wide once or twice. They are big.
Yes, they are surprisingly roomy. They're larger. I've been watching House Hunters International. They're surprisingly larger than a lot of the places you can get in Paris. Yeah. And much cheaper, so.
Ooh, there we go.
Well, but you're not living in Paris.
I mean, yeah. Just take my trailer to Paris.
Unless it's Paris, Texas.
just put it, float it on them there pontoons, and we'll
actually
us an orca and haul us across.
One of the Paris apartments had a sign for the Marfa Prada thing hanging in it, and I was like, "Wait a minute, that's here." Yeah, they had the Marfa Prada sign hanging up. I don't know how many people would actually understand what that was from if they saw that. Oh, God. Well, it was really nice today until the clouds went away. I mean, it was like 97, but it was still
clouds for like the first minute this morning when I took the dogs out.
We had clouds until 4:30 or so.
And then it hit 107.
So we got to 97. It was 97 when I got home from work. I think it went up a little bit, but...
My car registered 107 when I parked in my driveway.
And we got a little bit of rain. We got some sprinkles.
No wonder there you go.
Yeah, it was enough to make it really humid, so my hair has been huge, but it was enough to make my hair big.
I understand that these days when I put my long hair down.
It gets much more fluffy.
There's so much body to it. I could swing my head like a flail.
Yep, like River's song. My hair's full of spoilers.
All right. Well, we're at 8 o'clock, so
yes, we are.
Hit the button. We're gonna hit the button. The buttons have been hit.
Texas Steampunk Connection coming to you live from various parts of Texas in our bunkers and airships and whatnot. I am Flavio as usual, and with me as always is Thax, the gentleman adventurer, and Jack from Steam Chest. And we have Master Blue Stocking. Say hello, guys.
Hey.
So once again, we are here to talk, probably about steampunk, most likely, because that's what this is about. Thank you for listening to the Texas Steampunk Connection.
Hello.
Hola.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to the Texas Steampunk Connection. Once again, we have Thax, Jack, and Blue Stocking ready to talk steampunk or whatever comes to mind tonight.
Steamy punk.
Yes.
Sweaty,
at
steamy
any water
punk.
Outside, it's just going to go straight to evaporation.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
It continues to be hot.
It's gross. Yeah.
We've reached August, and I was fantasizing that maybe August wouldn't be as hard on us as June and July, but who am I kidding?
Nope.
It's August.
Nope.
Texas.
Gotta wait till September, and even then, it's a
Even then, yeah.
yeah. You know what? I would just be happy if it
November
was like
15th.
low 90s during the day. If it just gets down into the 80s, I can start wearing my boots again. That's all I need.
Did you hear about the the Scout International Jamboree happening in South Korea?
I have not.
So there's thousands and thousands of scouts.
Yes.
Now, it's not just Boy Scouts, but
Yeah.
general scouts. And there was a heat wave in South Korea, and temperatures getting as high as 90.
I mean,
In Korea. Yeah.
for the that's
But kids are like passing out, getting
Passing
heat
out, yeah.
exhaustion. They had to shut the whole thing down. There was no medical
Facilities able to handle that many
facilities to
people.
deal with
Wow.
them.
ugh.
And
God.
That's bad. That sucks.
I
Of course, whose idea was doing this in August in freaking Korea? Or
Korea
maybe because they thought the weather was.
right?
I was gonna say that's like going to England and getting 90 degrees in August. It doesn't happen. I mean,
well, this is today.
Yeah.
You go to the Antarctic, you don't know it might be 104. It was that way like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, when I went to England in 2018, I don't think it ever got above. It was the end of August, and I remember the Sunday that I was there. The Sunday that before I left, it was probably 50 degrees and rainy.
Yeah.
I was very caught unawares. I'm like, what is happening? Yeah, it was wild. Yeah. Well, there was a story I was reading this week about a mom who died of water intoxication.
I saw that headline too.
Yeah, she drank
We're in
like
Te- in
30
Texas.
yeah, it's like I don't know, like 2 gallons of water in 20 minutes and
Holy
went home and
crap.
passed it. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
really
that would
hot.
kill you.
I can't remember what they were doing. They were out. They were doing something in Texas. It's really hot. And she got home and passed out in the garage. And I mean, I know you can like get sick, but I didn't know that could like flush your entire body. Yeah. So, yeah. So, don't drink water.
Don't drink water, kids. It will
This
kill you.
stuff will kill you.
Maybe we should preface that with 2 gallons.
Yeah. Don't
Don't
don't shotgun your water.
glug, 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 glug. Ah.
I remember at a point,
Imagine.
Erica was trying to drink a gallon of water a day.
Yes,
It's some sort of health thing. And she found that was difficult.
it
At
is.
the end of the day, you're looking at the last of this gallon going, I hate
I
you.
hate
Because I
you
tried doing
so
that too,
much.
and yeah, I tried doing that too, and you try to space it out. I mean, I've got like one of those big Starbucks, like the 32 ounce, and I drink that for like over a period of like 6 hours.
So, with
Yeah.
that said, that 32 ounces, depending on your body weight and all that stuff, I could drink. I was drinking 3 of those a day, 32 ounces of water a day.
But as long as
And-
it's spaced out.
Yeah, the only way to really do it is if, like, immediately after my coffee, I literally just put the 32 ounces on my desk, and just every time I think about it, I drink some.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, there's some benefits to this, and there's some downsides. One, if you're working in an office, you're taking a lot of frequent bathroom breaks.
Bathroom breaks, yeah, and they don't like that. They
Well,
do not approve.
Yeah, depending on where you're working.
Netsol did not. I had to get a doctor's note to go once an hour.
See, that's
Yeah.
stupid.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah.
luckily my office was like you go out the main door and right around, and then there's a bathroom, and then I run back inside.
Just run out and back. Well,
Yeah.
see, we had codes we had to put our phones into. This was when I was on the phones. Yeah, we had to put our code
Oh,
into
so
our phone into a code, and so they knew they had a tracking sheet of what codes you were going into and when and for how long. Yeah, so
Yeah,
I
no,
literally
that's-
had to get a note from my doctor that said I had to be allowed to get up and go to the bathroom every
I'm allowed
hour.
to use the restroom, thanks.
Yeah. So
Yeah, no, I wouldn't. I don't like that much micromanagement over my time.
I don't need someone micromanaging my
Nice.
bladder.
I demand to be treated as an adult at
Yeah.
my work.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do what I got to do, and
Yeah.
you can do what you got to do.
Yeah, it was humiliating as a grown woman to have to get a bathroom pass, but
Yeah.
corporate
That's an
America.
HR
what are you gonna do?
offense.
I got a
Straight up
bathroom
HR
pass
offense.
right here.
Got 2 of them.
Well, speaking of drinking too much,
That's
I
a
have
good
some-
bridge.
I have something new tonight.
What?
What?
It's Lambrusco, but It's this
You gonna finish that whole bottle?
Notte Rosa Lambrusco. It's a little drier than the Riunite. It's not quite as like face puckeringly sweet. Yeah, it's really really good. Yeah, they didn't have the Lambrusco or they didn't have the Riunite at Total Wine, so I got this. I'm like, oh, this is really good, and nice and cold and a little fizzy. So yes,
so a lot less face melty like the Cup of Christ.
Yeah,
Not that dry.
Yes, you don't wake up with that sugary alcohol headache.
Oh,
yeah. So no, it's really good. Highly recommend. That's the Notte Rosa, and it was like $10. So it's not. And it's screw top, so it's super classy. So
honestly, I have yet to find. I have a $300 bottle of wine that was given to us as a gift, and we've drank half of it. And I will admit too, it tastes really nice. It is really good, but is it $300 good? I don't know. I would never have picked it up, but it was given as a gift.
I have had a $92 bottle of wine, and it's the Prisoner, and it's my favorite red blend. So yes,
there is that. Now, if you gave me like
worth it,
I don't know,
but I wouldn't. It's not something I would get like all the time.
Yeah, no,
I've never. Yeah,
not yet. Anyway,
this week I had a bottle that was retail priced at $40. It was a sale, of course, because you know how I like a sale.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
For that, yeah, absolutely.
But honestly, I didn't think it was that great. It was okay.
Yeah. But that's the price tag doesn't always.
$10 wine that I liked far better.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, it's not really. Someone can tell you that it's worth this much, so it's supposed to taste good, but that's not the point of it being that expensive. Yeah. It doesn't necessarily.
Just because it's expensive does not mean it's going to taste good.
Yeah. So the Prisoner I know is good. That's why I get that, but I would not, because I'd had glasses of that first. I would not spend that much money on a wine I had never tasted before. That's bonkers. No.
Well, Jack, what are you drinking?
Jack? Lambrusco?
I am drinking. No. It was a gift. And I'm drinking the 903.
Oh.
Old fashioned. We're so old fashioned.
Is it beer?
Yes,
it is.
Well, and it is.
It's a very dark bottle. Is it a very heavy beer?
Exceedingly dark.
I was gonna say, yeah, with a bottle like that, yeah.
Let's see here. It's a barrel aged Berliner. Berliner Weiss.
Berliner Weiss.
I'll admit I cannot pronounce this right now.
Yeah, Berliner Weiss.
Berliner
Weiss. Gotcha.
Remember, they don't pronounce their W's correctly.
Right. And then it's a style ale aged in orange, vanilla, sugar, bitters, and cherry.
Ooh,
and
that sounds
like, I don't know.
That sounds good, but I don't usually like a dark beer, so
it's like an interesting hot chocolate.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. And Thax, what weird beer do you have for us tonight?
So I have a number of dark beers sort of lingering in my refrigerator because when it comes to Tuesday nights, I'm like, it's too hot.
It is. Yeah.
So instead of any of those, I've got strawberry rhubarb.
I've seen this one. I wanted to pick some up.
Is that beer?
Blue Owl Brewer. Yeah, it's a strawberry and rhubarb milkshake sour ale.
That's a lot of weird flavor.
That's a lot of
words, man.
Blue Owl here does a lot of sours.
That's a lot of words that were in a sentence.
I've had this already, so this isn't.
Oh, okay. So this isn't a. Because I like the faces you make when you try a new one.
It's sort of pink.
Please join us on our Patreon to add
for
to
Thax's weird beer,
so that we can buy Thax weird beers.
Thax's weird beer corner.
Reaction. Yeah, I am so for this. This is fun.
It's kind of it. I mean, strawberry and rhubarb, so it's a fruity, sour.
It's a 90-year-old cake
flavor.
Gotcha.
I like it. I found that I really like sours to a point. I mean, they can go over that point, kind of like an IPA. You know, like oh, nope.
Yeah, and then it's just like a Sour Patch Kid.
Yeah.
I have not had a beer that's sour yet. This is intriguing to me.
But I like this. This thing is pretty good. My mother was a Yankee, and she thought rhubarb was awesome. And so I kind of grew up.
Yankee.
I know, that's the way he said it. My mother was a Yankee.
Sorry. Then I had to pull the Yosemite Sam.
The
out.
halcyon days of yore.
So she on occasion would make a rhubarb pie, and
See,
I
don't dig on
love
rhubarb.
those.
I've
But
had
that
it
is-
once. I
They're
think.
also big in Florida, which is I think
What,
is
rhubarb?
interesting. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, that's where I ate mine first because when we went to Florida, my mother-in-law was like, "We have to find a rhubarb pie or whatever it is. It comes in a pie shape. It's rhubarb stuff in a, it's good. Like I'll admit, I'm not one that's gonna like I go out of my way to eat rhubarb.
Yeah.
But
I remember trying a rhubarb pie when I was a kid because I can't remember where we were, but it was pink and I thought it looked really good. And my mom was like, "You're not gonna like this." I'm like, "No, I wanted it."
pink.
She was right. She was right. It was too much. I don't know. But also, I mean, as far as I know, it has to do with how you prepare the rhubarb.
Mhm.
Sometimes it can come out too sour if it's not.
That's why you cut it with
Yeah.
strawberry.
Okay.
They sort of balance
I think
each
this
other
was
out.
straight rhubarb pie. Yeah.
Well, it's like cranberry. No one likes straight cranberry.
Oh God, have you ever had straight cranberry
Oh, yeah.
juice?
Straight cranberry juice. You're like,
Ooh, they used to make us drink that for like bladder infections.
oh yeah.
Oh,
I usually would
man.
take shot
You
for
could just
shot
feel
with
your
the wife
face curving in. It's just
because
like bitter beer
I
face
love
guy.
that. That to me is
Oh
fantastic.
no, man!
But
I feel
you
like my
notice
mouth
that
is
it comes
scraped with
mixed with
sandpaper.
like, other flavors. Now it comes with like I usually mixed with grape or something.
See, I like cranberry because I make my own cranberry sauce for Thanksgiving with the
Mhm.
cranberry and watch them pop as they're on the stove, and it's really cool. And it's actually
Ooh.
easier than people think.
So
Yeah,
you
it's
make
really easy.
real cranberry sauce, not like the
Yeah, no,
See,
you get a.
yellow.
cranberry comes-
Apparently, the dog does not approve of my cranberry sauce.
no, because it's supposed to come out of a can. With
It's
the
to make
can
the.
lines on it.
No, I make the original. I get the bag of cranberries and a cup of orange juice and like a quarter cup of sugar, and you put it on the stove and you let it boil and it starts popping, and then you
Then
let
you
it sit
pour it
for like
into
half
a
an hour.
mold that gives
Nope.
it the lines on it.
There's no lines
Have
on
you
my
seen
cranberry
those?
sauce.
It's so people can make that.
No,
They jellify it up to be actually like
Actually,
a Jell-O
I guess technically what I make is cranberry relish, but it's
or
delicious.
sauce. It's a
It's very
sauce.
good. I am
Yeah.
an excellent cook. Thank you.
I'm not picking on you.
I like to keep it
I
fancy.
am an excellent chef. Thank
wouldn't
you
go that
very
far.
much.
An excellent.
I'm not a chef.
I'm an excellent cook.
Hail to the chef.
It's like that scene from freaking Die Hard. I'm an excellent thief, and since I'm moving up to kidnapping, you should be more polite. Thank you, Alan Rickman.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think of that stewed cranberry relish is.
Yeah.
I assume it to be more a northern thing too. And down in the south, we just get it out of the can.
The canned stuff is too sweet for me.
Oh,
Which is-
I'm
yeah.
not saying the can is better. I
Yeah.
grew up with the relish.
I did too. So I grew up with the canned stuff. My mom actually was one of the few things that weirdly she didn't make was as good a cook as she was. We always had the canned stuff, and when I first started making Thanksgiving for me and Matt, I looked stuff up and know what it was because his son had a lot of food allergies. So I was trying to make things that I could make in my own kitchen, and I knew it was going into them. And then it just kind of stuck. So, yeah.
So doing research here
About cranberries?
about what to talk about it on Texas.
Well, I thought we
Steampunk
were going to
Connection.
talk about jobs that were likely to kill you back then because I was
Absolutely.
I
I
was
just
refreshing
noticed
myself on the
that there were
triangle fire.
a lot of steampunk festivals and events in the UK
Yes,
Yeah,
because their summers are so
pictures
nice.
online right now.
I'm telling you, Asylum Steampunk Festival, it is amazing.
I'm
Yes,
sure.
and the town is incredible.
I'm
We need
just
to-
jealous.
We need to get Lawrence to sponsor a trip to Asylum.
That's right. You mentioned Lawrence, who is not here tonight. He and Rita are off in Scotland right
in Scotland,
now.
Yes.
Oh right, they're
Are they-
scouting the locations for us to go in the future.
Are they there right now? Because she posted earlier, like T-2 hours or something. Was that when they were
They're
leaving?
probably
or-
sitting in an airplane right now.
Ah,
Okay, yeah.
Because I was like, wait, 2 hours? The show's in like 3 hours. Oh, wait, she's leaving town. Never mind.
It's not all
That's
about
why
us.
she's counting down.
They have
Well,
more
how long
important
are they
things
gonna
than
be
our
gone?
video right now.
I mean,
Uh,
how long are they going to be there?
until
I
the
think
heat subsides.
12 days, something like that.
How much beer and whiskey is Lawrence going to send home?
I mean, how much is he going to ingest while there?
Oh man, Rita doesn't drink though, right?
Yeah,
So he's
so
got
right.
his
Yeah.
got his designated.
He's got
okay.
a drink for both of them.
and she can get him. Okay.
But Kitty is with us, so
Hi,
hello,
Kitty.
Kitty.
Hello.
Hello.
What are you drinking?
Oh, I also found this article because I found something. In 1816, there was a volcanic eruption that blotted out the sun,
Yes, the
and
year
they
without
had
a
no
summer.
summer that year.
Yep.
1816, the year without a summer. That's when Mary Shelley wrote Frankenstein.
That actually,
sounds
yep.
fantastic.
And Rasputina has a song called "The Year Without a Summer."
And that's the one year that reset the clock for our ice age a little.
Yes, that was like the tail end of the little ice age.
Yeah.
That had been going on since the 14th century, 13th century.
Yeah.
That
So-
also
Yeah, it was-
sounds wonderful. Can
it
we
was
get one of
wild.
those?
Yeah,
yeah,
it was
I
a
would love a miniature
weird.
ice age. Let's just do
Even
it.
for England, it was a weird, cold summer. Yeah.
What-
Yeah, it was a very odd period.
Kitty
It's
says
morning
it's
here, so
morning
she
where
has coffee?
she's-
Where's
Where
Kitty?
Where it's okay, so morning would be. I can't do that in my head right now.
I can't either. Where? Kitty,
another place on the globe.
that's like 12.
It's not Britain.
Is she on the other side of the planet?
Where are you, and why are you watching us?
Why is this like? Yeah, why is this
Why
like
are you
Carmen
up
San
in the morning
Diego? But
watching
we're
us?
we're
Where in the world is Kitty?
where
She's got her little
in
hat
the
on.
world? Yeah, we got to get her the big. Oh, she could so have an awesome one of those. You know what? I would be jealous if
Steampunk
that was
Carmen
it.
San Diego.
Oh yeah, no, I would be all over that.
Kitty,
My nemesis, really.
other side of the planet. Where?
About
Australia?
to go for breakfast. Can you be more specific?
So all right, so if it's 6, all right, so 6
Can you
hours.
be more
12 hours ahead
Pacific?
now.
I have
would be-
dyscalculia, so I can't do the math. Sorry.
I'm just
just-
lazy.
Yeah, I just don't want
Gotta
to.
do it.
Well,
Kitty, we need more. Oh my
Three
god,
of
what are
them.
you doing in Thailand?
Thailand.
Oh,
That makes sense.
because that's where her
She missed out on the jamboree. Is the
where she
problem.
gets all of her
Oh.
materials for her work items.
That's right.
So she's-
Wow.
Well,
She's
don't go to
going
Korea
shopping.
right now.
That's
Doing
wow.
a shopping trip.
That is
Awesome.
awesome. I love that. I love that so much.
Hey, oh, you're taking pictures. You better send us pictures.
Yes, you better be sending pictures back.
And eating the food, telling
As
us
we
all
sit
about
here
it.
and yell at a woman that's in
Love the
Thailand.
You will do what we say. You're our friend.
Okay, well, let's
Peer pressure.
let Kitty drink her coffee and relax and stop yelling at her.
That's why she's watching us. She's relaxing with her coffee in the morning, or we're gonna, dying over here of heat stroke.
I
Waiting
can't
for our
imagine
year
the
without a summer.
I know. Well, I mean, with the way the weather patterns are, it could be coming up pretty soon.
You're next.
Nothing's normal anymore.
The only normal we have is change itself. Oh, I
Speaking
don't
of
mind.
change,
show me patterns all day.
if you have watched our show for very long recently, you know that Jack has changed jobs and I've changed jobs, and we're both miserable doing our new jobs. Okay, I don't know if that's
I
true.
mean, it's hot.
Aw,
Yeah.
Sorry.
New miserable. It's different. It's different from old miserable.
I mean,
we're still
yeah,
having to
you know.
work for money. We can't.
But
just
it's a
decide on
change.
being awesome yet.
It is a change, whether we like it or not. And Jack brought up a little discussion point or competition. What would have been the worst
Huh.
job in a steampunk Victorian hellscape?
I have the winner, so do y'all want to
You just want to be first? Is that what you're saying?
Triangle Shirtwaist Factory Fire?
Oh, okay,
those-
all right.
Factories were the worst places for people to work. They didn't get smoke breaks. They didn't get food breaks. They ate at their tables. The air was full of cotton dust and
So I mean, yes.
I'd say they get one smoke break.
well, that's why the place caught on fire.
So
Yeah,
there's a couple of weird jobs that would definitely.
there are
put you
many
in-
weird jobs back then. I mean,
So-
if you were a kid, if you were 5 years old and had small hands, you could get a job in the It seems like the fabric, the clothing and
Oh, yeah,
fabric businesses were some of the worst places.
Oh yeah, people like they have
to
chain
work.
link gauntlets for
Yeah.
people who work in these facilities today because
Yeah.
the technology hasn't changed.
Well, and even inhaling the
Textiles is
cotton
nuts.
fibers. Yeah, inhaling the dyes and the cotton fibers. Yeah, that
yeah.
was, and like I said, those factories were just yeah. Oh, I can't even imagine. Ah. Okay. So yeah, fabric,
one.
one of the worst places to work.
It's all right, Kitty. We'll make sure you have a good funeral.
Oh no! Sorry, I was not going. That was not intentional. Just make sure there's no children that made your fabric.
coffee. Didn't mean to kill you.
Sorry, that was completely unintentional. So, who else would like to?
All right, Thax. What do you got? I got a couple.
I also have a couple.
Ooh, you want
one-
to go and
one
then I'll
came
go
to
and you go
mind.
and I go?
It depends on your steampunk world creating, but
All right.
imagine, if you will, to get the lift for our steampunk airships, you need some sort of magical mineral, liftonium, that has to be
Ether.
mined from deep in the mountains.
The floating mountains.
Well, it's so rare
Floating mountain.
and valuable that the miners, the mines are owned by a big corporate conglomerate, of course, and the miners, who are poorly paid, go down there to mine the stuff out. There's obviously no safety procedures, whatever, but also when they come back out, each one of them has to be shaken down and frisked and make sure that they're not trying to keep any of that liftonium on them that the sweat of their brow brought out of the ground, and then they turned over to their corporate overlords. And if you were to get caught, you could, be put in jail or just shot. If you made a run for it, you definitely just get shot.
Lose a hand. Lose a limb.
Which would be, exactly what the California gold rush gold mines were like.
Yeah. Well, they did the same thing to the girls in the factories too. They would, that's why they locked the doors so that they could search everybody on the way out to make sure they weren't stealing shirts or whatever they were going out the door. That's why the doors were locked, because they were so worried about theft. So yeah, and the rubber farmers, that people that worked the rubber plantations in the Belgian Congo, they were subject to amputations if they, made somebody mad. So that's why in Everfair, Nizi Shaw's book, it's a take on it's a steampunk take on the Congo, and a lot of the escaped workers have like clockwork prosthetics to replace the limbs that they lost because of the amputation. So it's
if you had a clockwork prosthetic, you could be assumed to be a thief.
They had run at that point though. Yeah, they were in hiding. So yeah, but that was, they all ran to freedom, and they crafted new limbs for themselves. So I guess that would be a mark that would show that who was probably
meet somebody in the street and they've got a mechanical hand.
Someone who got singled out. Yeah, but most of them were hiding in the jungle. So they had their little establishments in the jungle. Yeah. So
okay, Jack.
Yeah.
You got something good?
Well, all right, I got a couple. First off, a lot of them like coal miner, sure. Chimney sweep also is another bad one.
Yeah.
Especially considering the chimneys of
children.
What are you talking about? I saw Mary Poppins.
Mary Poppins chimney.
They have such a great. I know they love their. They're in a union. That's why.
Yeah.
Oh.
They're unionized.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tie
a kid to a rope and drop him down a chimney.
Oh yeah.
I just can't imagine Victorian children. I mean, it's just so horrible.
Hey, if you could work, everyone needed a job. So I've come up with sewer worker being a fun one. Operating and maintaining the massive.
I feel like that would be bad no matter what century you're in.
It just gets worse the moment you add in like Edwardian. And
there's no world where that is not a terrible job.
Yeah. Tending to the underground sewer systems was a grim and unsanitary task. Workers were exposed to disease and hazardous waste, and the smell of and conditions were unbearable. Another one. All right, so I didn't think about this one.
I want to stop here. I don't want to move past this.
Okay.
First, the fact that your city has a sewage system.
I mean,
Excuse me. Hold on.
London has one. It's usually called the Thames.
well, I mean, yeah, because even though they had a sewage system, people were still dumping their waste into the street and letting it run down to the gutters. So
Yep. Just dumping it straight on the street.
that's
Sorry about that. My little Pepita doesn't recognize me after coming back from a
Oh
walk
no!
because I have
Her object permanence.
hat on.
Oh no, puppy. I
So-
mean, yes, the existence of sewers is, speaks to the. But still, I mean,
Advancement.
somebody has to go in there and clean out the.
Well, there's always the alternative. The night soil collector
Oh,
who comes
Yeah.
to your house and hand crates your refuse.
That is, yeah. Well, and also I don't want to speak out of turn because I don't know exactly, but in India, I believe the lowest caste is the night soil collectors, and that's just what you do. I mean, or did. I don't know if that's still a thing, but yeah, you just like you said, everybody's got to have a job, I guess.
Well, what I find
But-
fascinating is this
Capitalism.
collector would take all of that stuff back to his house or his
where they dump
property
it.
or
Is
wherever he had to dump it,
here's
and
domain, yeah.
spread it around on the ground to let
Fertilizer.
it sort of ferment and break down.
So the modern day version
So
of this.
All of his neighbors hate him
Oh yeah.
because all the stink.
Yeah, I can't even.
But then when said fertilizer is
Ready.
had a few weeks to do what it does, he can then sell that back to the farming
Yeah.
community as something valuable.
It's the circle of life.
So the modern variant of what he's talking about is the porta potty.
Ugh.
Yeah. So I
That
work,
isn't
one of my
pleasant for
offices that I
everyone.
work for is the Department of Wastewater Management for a local municipality, and right next door is like the largest porta potty person group facility in the tri-state area or something stupid like that. It's huge, and I'm assuming it reeks, but they have a place. There's an entire field that they basically just dig up, dump the stuff, and till it in. And
I mean, it's got to go somewhere.
Gotta go
at least,
somewhere.
And then you can buy it back from them. It's called Dillo dirt.
oh,
Dillo dirt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Not from actual armadillos, but from actual friends and family.
Lovely.
your home Dillos.
And it's good. It's good product.
Yep.
Mhm, I'm sure. I'm glad I work in a library.
Yeah. Another one I came up with was, or I didn't come up with, it exists as a job because if you watch the Titanic, you see a whole bunch of sweaty men at the bottom shoveling.
Oh
coal.
yeah, yeah. The
Wow.
stevedores and the
Ah. Apparently he's into. Yeah.
Tell me about the sweaty men in the bottom of the ship.
God.
Hello.
I
Just
can't
say-
with you.
Boiler stoker. Stoking my boiler.
Oh my God.
Ooh la la.
Oh, good Lord.
There you go.
Yes, I'm sure it was a very sexy, sweaty job. I'm sure they all were just all of those pasty,
Just
super red Irishmen
24/7 looking like,
trapped in the bottom of the
freaking-
ship.
like body cologne men. That's what, that's what it is. That's what Max's whole idea of this is. It's just commercial cologne men for as far as the eye can see.
Nope.
We're romanticizing a fictional part of history right there, aren't we?
Well, I mean, I kind of feel like we have to. Although, I mean, I don't know. People were always like, if you actually go back to the Middle Ages, everybody stank and it was terrible. And I mean, I think we tend to overplay.
Hello,
that.
have you been camping for a week and a half?
I mean, yeah, and people did actually care for themselves back then. It was in a different way, and it was limited by what you had available to you. But hygiene has always been, a thing for the most part. It's not like we invented bathing 100 years ago.
It makes you wonder if, like, our Victorian historians went on about how stinky the medieval man was to sort of compensate for the fact that they were actually stinky in the Victorian era.
Well,
How
and
are you wearing that many layers of clothes?
Okay,
It's
but
hot
see,
outside.
that's why it makes me bonkers on TV when women are all like running around in their corsets with nothing, like it's all very sexy, but they don't have like a corset, anything underneath, like a shift underneath it. You didn't do that because your corset would have been nasty, and you can't wash that. I mean, you can like sponge it off, but they were expensive. You couldn't wash it. You're not just gonna have it on your bare. And also, like I feel like you get a rash or something from that. Yeah, you had to wear.
Thank you, Steampunk. You've ruined it.
Well, I mean, like I said, it's all very sexy, but and also, I mean, that's part of what the layers were for, was to protect your clothes that couldn't be
washed.
Yeah, which was why the shirtwaist was such a big thing, because women could just wash their shirt and hang it up, and it was a separate piece. And
Yep.
That was why that was so freeing for women, because they didn't have to wear all those layers anymore. They could actually wash their clothes. They didn't have to have a ladies' maid to do it. Women could wash their clothes, hang it up, and they were good to go.
Yep.
So, women encumbered by fashion.
Well, now we just encumbered them with other things.
You needed a fainting couch with all those layers.
It was fascinating. Just about every Victorian manual labor job is awful.
Mm-hmm.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
We've talked about a lot of these before, but the landlord, their job was terrible. They're trying to go from door to door collecting the rent, but also, being looked down upon by society because they got this job to do. I guess that's not any different than now. But certainly not having enough money to maintain the properties.
Yeah.
Because nobody had any money. Nobody.
Yeah. Nobody had any money. Yeah. Well, and also the levels and layers of society. I mean, especially the way it became so stratified in the Victorian era, that even because there's some things still hang around today, because when what's his name, Diana's son William married Kate, she was from a merchant family. Okay, this is like mid 2000s, but she was from a merchant family, and so yeah, she wasn't a lady like Diana was, or most of them, and so that was still like, I'm like, it's like mid 2000s. Why is this a problem? But
the
yeah,
fact that she's being described as the merchant class.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, social
Really?
climber. Yeah, Victorian era, they did. Yeah, everybody was trying to climb the ladder, and nobody liked anyone who was underneath them and trying to climb up. It was pulling up the ladder behind you and kicking
So
especially
familiar.
Yeah, for women. I mean, that was really the only way to move up, was to maybe you can find a wealthy man to marry, but chances are he's not going to marry you because his family doesn't have any money either. That's why they were all coming to America to marry the daughters of the robber barons, because they had the money but no title or legitimacy. Right. Yeah, and because there was I can't remember the name of the book, but there was an actual book of eligible British bachelors and their titles and their rank and everything, and they would go through this book, and it was it was something with a B. I can't remember what it was, but yeah, it was like released, I think, once a year maybe. And it was, all of the eligible British bachelors who needed money and had a title. Yeah.
So I'm being pointed in by Lex is sending me some information here on this. I'm getting it on my yeah. Exactly. Breaking news, everyone! They used to call this, the French used to call this the nouveau riche, or the new rich.
Yes, in Germany it was the burgers.
The burgers.
The BUR, the burgers, the burgermeisters. But I know, but they were like the merchant class that were rising up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Burgermeisters.
But even then, I mean, we're talking about the well-to-do, the old money and the new corporate money. And what we're really talking about is the man in the street jobs, if you could find one.
If you could find one. I mean,
And no matter how bad they were, it was even worse if you were unemployed, if you were homeless, walking the streets.
Yeah.
They had laws on the books, much like our camping bans
the
now.
loitering law.
You
Yeah.
could not loiter, you could not sleep in the streets, or you'd be arrested and thrown in jail and then put you into a workhouse.
Yeah. And nobody wanted the workhouse because that was worse.
Mm-hmm.
That was worse than being on the street. Yeah.
So there were these, I don't even know what to call them, these houses where you paid like a very small amount to go inside and have some place to sit.
Yep.
Mhm.
Or
Yeah.
if you didn't have enough money, just some place to stand.
Yeah.
And you were not allowed to sleep. So that was somebody's job, to go along and make sure the people who didn't pay to sleep were still awake. Slap them. It's like, what kind of job is that?
I know. Like, well, but you know what? It's a job.
Yep. They turned
I'm
into
a bum
bouncers later.
slapper professionally.
I mean, yeah. You know, maybe if you stay in there long enough, someone will offer you a job as a bouncer. I mean,
Yep.
But
Literally
this
a
also-
bouncer.
because the workhouses could be worse, which is why, especially for so many women, that's why a lot of women turn to sex work, because it's either that and at least have a semblance of freedom, which again, super dangerous, obviously, but a semblance of freedom versus working in the workhouse where you're, you know, washing
Owned.
rich people's clothes from sunup to sunset and not being paid as much as, I mean, they still weren't making a lot on the street, but they were making more. And they didn't have someone, you know, telling them what to do. So,
Yep.
you know, you had to make a choice. I mean, Victorian sex worker, not a great job, but at least they had some semblance of freedom if they were on their own, you know. But I mean, I can't imagine it was any more dangerous than any other job, any other menial labor job at that time.
Oh.
I
Yeah.
have one.
Okay.
Okay, well, I mean, it's probably just as dangerous. It's probably not more dangerous. But, I mean, we did talk about, you know, your textile mill workers and your cotton gin workers kind of being involved in the same type of, you know, exposed to cotton dust and etc.
And
But
machines that'll
one I
grab
didn't-
your hair,
Oh, yeah. Rip your hand off. Fun
Yep.
stuff.
rip your hair out. Yeah.
But matchstick dippers.
Oh God, I knew you were gonna bring it. The Fosse girls. Yeah, the phosphorus from the matchsticks. It would get into their teeth and their mouths, and so they would end up. Don't look up the pictures.
Sulfur is, don't look up pictures.
Don't
It's
look
terrible.
up the pictures of the Fosse girls, but yeah, it was similar to the radium girls from
Yeah.
World War that were painting the watches with, and they would dip the brush to wet it, and so
Yep.
yeah, it's similar to that where their jaws just
They rotted
rotted
off.
away. Yeah, just whole. Like I said, don't look it up. It's gross,
That's
but
bad.
it
Yeah,
was terrible.
like
Yeah.
that.
So yeah, the matchstick the girls that made the matches, it was, yeah, it was. But I mean, you need a job, got to work, you know. So you pick a, you know, if you're lucky, if you were really really lucky, you could, you know, for men or women, you could get a job as a secretary, because women were finally able to work as secretaries. You might get a job in an office, you know, but if you're a woman, then you also might have to deal with someone sexually harassing you.
No,
it was-
always. It's just,
But I mean, it's either that or you work in a factory where you get, you know, Fosse jaw, or your hair caught in a machine, or, you know, any one of a number of other things. It was a, you know, what is the least worst job that I can have? You know,
now that you mention it, this is my all right. Do you have another one, Thax? I have one more.
Oh, I was just. No, go ahead.
you sure? Ooh, puppy.
Sorry, she's scratching her
of those.
ears. She's got allergies, and so she's
Aw.
yeah.
Same puppy, same.
So
Okay.
this one's kind of a sciencey fictiony one.
Okay.
It would be along the lines of the Lovecraftian pest exterminator. It'd be a daunting occupation. Tasked with confronting the supernatural and otherworldly creatures infesting the city, these exterminators utilize a mix of steampunk technology and occult knowledge to investigate, trap, and neutralize Eldred's pests.
Oh my
So
god!
literally
It's
the
like kind of like Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Steampunk Ghostbusters.
like Ghostbusters, but also the rat catcher.
Ooh.
Have you seen the Steampunk Ghostbusters cosplay?
Yeah.
Oh, I love them.
Oh.
I love them so much.
I'm getting another feed here from the. She said something along the lines of cryptomycologists.
Say again?
That's mycologist is mushrooms. It's fungus,
Yes.
right?
So
Yeah.
mycologist. There's a steampunk Mario who his job in the steampunk world was as a mycologist.
Yeah, actually, I do know Steampunk Mario fairly well.
Steampunk
Yeah.
Mario, really?
Yeah.
It's a mushroom. You
Oh.
can eat it.
He's beautiful.
So good.
You should look up. Yeah, he's got. He's got
All
a
right, let me look.
great outfit. There's going to be a couple of them, but he's one of the best ones.
Oh my lord. Yeah. Wait, is this an actual cosplayer?
Yeah, he's one of our friends from El Paso. We're gonna link you. We're gonna link the right one.
No, I got. Okay,
he
actually,
looks
there's
just
a bunch
like
of
Mario,
them.
like straight up.
Yeah, there's a couple of them. Good
He actually had
lord.
like a costume where he was like in it, like halfway out of a tunnel and whatnot.
I love people's imaginations.
But yeah, so yeah, there you go. Cryptomycologist. That sounds like a terrible idea. I'm a science fiction mushroom trier.
Everybody needs a job.
Whew.
I've seen videos of like
It
current
tastes color.
wild food collectors and mushroom hunters, and it does seem like a really fascinating
Oh, yeah.
pastime to hunt for mushrooms
And make sure you're
learn
getting the right one.
which ones don't kill you.
Yeah. Well, I didn't read the article, but I saw a headline today. Some woman is, I guess, has been arrested. Like 4 people in the family died after she fed them something with mushrooms, and they're trying to decide if it's homicide or a horrible accident.
Mm.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. But I mean,
And
if
then-
it was her husband and all her, her in-laws, I might wonder if that was is that an accident? I don't know.
I remember hearing about a Japanese like mushroom specialist, a culinary mushroom specialist. He was a chef, and he came to California to visit his niece, and they went mushroom hunting, and he picked up what he thought was a very common mushroom in Japan, and he cooked it for her,
Oh no.
and it was not that mushroom.
Yeah.
And it was in fact extremely dangerous, and it killed his niece or her grandniece.
Nice.
And on top of the horror of killing your family, he lost his entire reputation in Japan as being
An
a
expert.
great expert mushroom hunter.
Yeah, I mean,
It was a terrible story.
but I mean, that's from everything I've heard, because I'm being in the SCA, there's a lot of people will be involved in stuff like that, the wild foraging and the wild. But yeah, I mean, that's what I've heard, that even when you think you know what a mushroom is, because it looks just like one that you're familiar with, it may not be that same kind. So that is just not. Oh, really?
So Jack is posting pictures to the live feed of
Mario.
his Mario friend while we're talking.
His Mario friend. Oh my god. So does he just carry that thing around with him?
Carry it with him? No, that's a permanent installation, I'm sure.
I'm just saying, I just can't imagine toting something like that around at a convention. That just
A
seems
giant
really,
pipe, yeah.
it seems really awkward.
He's dedicated. Very dedicated.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not gonna knock it.
He's got cords right here, and there's wheels on it, so it runs around.
There was about a 6-month period where he was making the Yoshi part of it.
Yeah, he's been making. There was a 6-month period where he was working on Yoshi.
Oh god, there's a Yoshi.
Which at this point in time, I think he just needs to get one of those air up T-Rexes and just ride it.
So back to your ratter idea, I'm reading that
the
that would
ratter.
be common rat catcher.
Yeah.
That they had like small dogs and small animals trained
Rat terriers.
Mhm.
to kill rats for them, and considering Jack and I both now have small and obnoxious dogs.
Yeah.
I think mine could go after mice.
But could it go after a Cthulhu-esque monster living under
No.
in the sewers?
I mean, all right, so Vivi would go after it. She would not do any damage to it, but she has the mentality to attack it. Yeah.
Aw. Literally
That's
all bark, no bite.
Yeah, well, she's a Pomeranian, so, you know.
Actually, now that we're talking about it, and there's people that still do this to this day, the mudlarking in the Thames. That is as far as I know, a long and storied profession of digging in the Thames. Yeah, digging in the Thames. There's people that do it today because there's people on YouTube that'll post videos on YouTube. That's just what they do. They go down to the Thames and they dig in the mud and find treasure.
I mean, it's particularly easy right now because the water levels are so low.
Yeah, I can't imagine the smell. I
do know a little bit about this. I've seen one guy who uses a big magnet he throws off of bridges.
Really?
Over
yeah,
magnet and he's pulled up like one of the he has the
which just drags it.
Oh yeah, no, he just drumps it off the side, big magnet, and he's reeled in things that he's had to call the local constabulary's bomb squads out because he's pulling up grenades and whatnot from World War II.
Yeah.
And, like unexploded munitions are just everywhere in those lakes and rivers.
I imagine if you drained the Thames, the Seine, the canals in Venice, can you imagine what you would find in there? I mean, just from thousands of years of human habitation, it
would be pretty cool. First off,
the Hudson,
being able to drain it would be awesome.
Just can you imagine what's down there? I mean the disease, but you don't want to go in. Oh, the canals in Venice. They're so beautiful. I can't imagine actually falling into one, though. I think you would die. Just all of the diseases that we thought we beat. Just
lurking under the surface. Like a summer movie. Just when you thought we were done. Yeah.
I don't know. I think gondola pilot? What is a gondola? Are they captains or pilots? Gondola. Okay. I don't know if they're captains or pilots or drivers or what they are.
Stick pusher.
Gondola steerer guy.
Driver.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know these technical terms. Okay.
It's gondolier.
Okay. All right. Well, I didn't know that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I feel like it looks like such a romantic job, though. They're just.
If you have a singing voice, you can kind of do it too. It works out.
Yeah. Although I'd be afraid I'd whack with
it's like those awesome scenes from Indiana Jones. Venice.
Yeah. Anybody else have any shitty Victorian jobs that they want?
Please post them below or hit us up on our YouTube channels, our Facebook,
for sure.
X, Twitter.
There's so many. Although I will say this, that one of the things that fascinates me about, especially like cities like London or Paris or even New York, is not the sewer system itself, but the sewer systems, the tunnels that are down there and that are so old, and they, there's so many things to explore down there, and the markings on the walls that can guide you through if you know what you're looking for. And Edinburgh, I think, is the same way. Edinburgh has been built up, so there's a whole city like underneath the city, and that is so cool.
That whole idea to me just blows my mind. I don't understand.
What, Edinburgh?
No, just the fact you can build a city on top of a city on top of a city as it slowly sinks into the mud over decades.
You know that they discovered Troy like 150 years ago, and there's like 7 layers to Troy.
Yeah, it's just
it's like it's just there's like
7-layer dip.
Nothing sinks in West Texas.
Yes, it's a Greek 7-layer dip.
You can't dig a hole without a rock breaker.
Yeah, it kept. Well, dude, in England, you can't dig anywhere without digging up some piece of ancient history. I mean, they found
Rome as well.
We talked about this. They found King Richard under a parking lot.
And they put him back under the parking lot.
Well, I still don't like him.
Yeah, it doesn't make him any better. I mean, it seems kind of fitting that he's under the parking lot, but they found him under a parking lot, but they still have never found the princes that disappeared into the tower and were never heard from again. So
because
they'll turn up in somebody's backyard eventually.
Say those bodies will never be found.
Everywhere you go in England, it seems like there's just either Roman or Viking or something.
Yeah, it's not a huge island. Honestly, if you look at it.
Yeah, but I mean,
and just how long human habitation's been there.
yeah.
Well,
No.
Flavio came back from Seattle with the same stories that the city has sunk and they just built more on
They just
top
keep
of
building
it.
on top of it, yeah.
And we haven't been in Seattle nearly so long as London.
Yeah.
Nope.
No, but I mean, humans have been were inhabiting the area for
Sure.
a long time before. And I mean, like I said, I've been watching way too much House Hunters International. But like the European ones fascinate me because they're looking at apartments in Paris that are from like the 15th century or the 16th century.
Yeah.
And
they're just
they've still got the
running
beams.
Cat5 cable with the electrical.
Yes.
Like stapled to the
I'm
wall.
but then people walk in there and they're like, "Oh, I like something more modern." I'm like, "Oh my god, you're looking at a 16th century apartment in Paris that you could get for
You can like
$2,500 a month."
re-drywall it. It's fine. I think.
Yeah, but
I
like,
don't know if you'd be
no,
allowed
it's so
to.
old. Oh my god, what is wrong with you?
That's the problem.
Americans
like
behaving
things that are
badly in
old.
Europe. Yes.
They don't know what old is yet.
Well,
And
no, they don't, and
then
they don't
Europe
know.
likes things that are new because
Well,
they are around everything that's old.
But they also don't pay attention to anything. You could tell they don't watch the BBC because they see those little fridges and they freak out.
I was in a hotel at Hot Springs coming back from Indiana, and the hotel rooms that we were in were from like the 20s or later or older, and they were beautiful and fantastic. And yeah, they run cable on the outside of the wall, but they were just like, yeah, we're gonna close off this section of the hotel and modernize it. Like,
No.
what? No, why? Don't do that.
No.
One of our
Sure, it's a safety hazard and probably burst into flames any moment. But
I mean, secure it, but keep the charm.
So unfortunately, I have one of our customers that works in a building that's being renovated out here in West Texas. It's an old high school built like back in the 30s, and it's
full of
freaking-
asbestos.
At one point it was, I'm sure. We don't disturb that part.
Yeah.
But-
Don't anger the asbestos.
No, it's a gorgeous building, except for the insides now because it's been renovated. It needs to be renovated. Obviously, It's been used a lot, and then it was turned into an old folks' home because the government didn't know what else to do with it, and then the guy bought it off of them and is now turning it into a micro mall. And he does a weekend. Like, it's got a lot of land on the outside of the building,
Okay.
the grounds. There's a huge amount of grounds with this building where he holds festivals and things. So,
okay.
like every weekend or something, there's big swap meets, and just people are allowed to come out and like pay $10 and set up a vendor station basically. And there's the stuff inside's pretty cool. There's a bunch of clothing shops. So your old, any weird old clothing, if you can be found in there. So like I'm waiting to go into some of these, but they're always closed until open on the weekends, and I'm not there on the weekends.
Yeah.
But they have an ice cream parlor in there that uses liquid nitrogen to make ice cream.
Oh,
man,
yeah.
that is the way to eat ice cream. That's
like
stuff.
the gastromolecular. That's awesome.
It freezes it instantly, so the crystals are so
see.
small that it's like perfect.
Yeah.
I've had their sample. I haven't had anything else because they open at a weird time when I'm there.
Mhm.
But it just recently changed hands, so it's open again. But they also have like a microbrewery in there, and they're getting a Scotch bar in November. So it's
Fancy.
they're trying to make it a night area. There's a whole bunch of like food trucks outside, or they're trying to bring in more food trucks. So,
Speaking of November, we finally have dates for Steampunk November.
do we? That's right, we do. I posted the thing.
Yeah.
Oops.
Where?
Steampunk November, we
shared
finally
it.
have dates.
Yeah, it's always the second weekend.
I know, but I like to make a plan, so I needed to know
It's the
dates.
second weekend. I know what I'm doing. The second weekend to November.
And the one time that I count on just flying by the seat of my pants and listening to you, it's going to be like the third week. So, or the first week. I guess the third week is Thanksgiving.
Maybe I was like Thanksgiving.
I'm just saying. Strange
I don't
things
think
have
you would
happened.
do that to us.
So yes, Steampunk November, 11th and 12th of November.
Awesome.
See,
Yeah.
it's always it's almost always that.
Just saying. I have people who need to plan because Shannon wants to come
I
back and
need
bring
to as
Emery.
well.
But
I got to tell my boss I'm probably
Yeah.
gonna take Friday off or something. So
yeah, I don't know. I kind of want to go out on Friday night, so we'll see what happens.
And there's still that September 23rd date for the Iron Horse Heritage Festival in Mineola, Texas.
that's fun
Oh,
again.
Isn't that the one that's we talked about that last time,
We
right?
talked about that last time. Yes, we're gonna go.
Yes.
I
Okay.
want to.
Ooh.
Little dog
Oh,
got stepped
no.
on
Oh no, puppy.
by the big dog.
No.
She's fine.
Walk it off. Rub some dirt in it. Walk it off.
So I'm reminded of a Christmas Carol, right? With Uncle Scrooge. I mean, Scrooge McDuck. No.
Uncle Scrooge McDuck.
Ebenezer Scrooge.
Ebenezer Scrooge.
Played delightfully and wonderfully by Guy Pearce in the FX Scrooge.
When he had his little,
Michael Caine.
What was his name?
Michael Caine was awesome, but I'm just saying, if you want sexy Scrooge, that's the Guy Pearce version from a few years ago.
You're right. I still think Michael Caine is very sexy in that role. Thank you very much.
I just love the fact that Michael Caine played it as serious as he could.
Oh, yeah. He's like, he treated everyone else as every puppet as another actor.
Yeah, and Tim Curry
then-
treated himself like
Okay.
a Muppet in Puppet
Yeah.
Treasure Island. Okay, sorry, Thax.
Focus. Bob Cratchit is the topic. The guy who has a job.
Yes,
A
he
job
works very
where
hard.
where he doesn't have shit all over him.
Yes, but his
Right.
fingers are frozen and his ink is frozen.
Right. And Scrooge uses the threat of being unemployed that we now under a little bit of understanding of what was being threatened to poor
Yes.
Bob Cratchit if he were to ask for anything, apparently. So I think that's interesting. Gives you a little more context.
Yeah, I mean, he had a solid, secure job, but it was still
His
in
boss
danger,
wasn't such
you
a
know.
dick.
And also, I mean, what did he work from like, I don't know, 6 or 7 a.m. until 5 every single day? And this
Yep.
was, I mean, back before, I mean, you got Sundays off for church, but you still worked like 6 days a week.
Grudgingly.
Weekends weren't a
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, weekends weren't really a thing. I think Americans invented that because there's an episode of Downton Abbey where the Dowager is like, a weekend? What is that?
Yeah, we fought for it. It's called unions.
Unions.
The reason we have a weekend is because of unions and child labor laws and vacation.
But
Like,
I mean,
unions have given us such wonderful things.
Bob
Yeah, so-
Cratchit had a job. He had frozen ink, but he had a job. No,
Blue Stockings anti-union. You heard it here first.
no. I have
Except in
enough
front of the
problems right
librarian
now.
union, I'm sure.
No.
Is there a union of librarians?
Some libraries do have unions, but I think they fall because, like, I'm part of the Texas Teachers
Association.
Retirement and all that. Yeah, we fall under because I'm because I'm an academic librarian. I fall under the teachers plan. But yeah, no, public librarians, they have unionized in a lot of places. I think like I said, they fall under a bigger umbrella though. I don't think there's a librarians union. They usually fall under the teachers. So
Well, those government workers that are at the bottom. That's what it is.
that would be me.
All right. I'm a
Everybody.
government contractor at the moment.
Yeah, I am technically a state employee. It's awesome, especially in this state. But
One
that
day
is a
I will
conversation
also
we don't
have a
need to have
state
on this
employee
show.
job.
We will talk about that afterwards. So,
Speaking of afterwards, we've hit 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock.
is it 8 o'clock for you?
It's time for things.
Time
Hello,
is
everyone.
moving
We're just starting the
backwards.
show over again. Apparently, it's 8 o'clock.
It's Groundhog Day.
So yeah, it's
Lord.
time to talk about our patrons that people are keeping our lights on. So Texas Steampunk Connection is supported in part by J.R. Seegers, A School for the Great Game. Edwardian teen Elizabeth Bancroft resents being sent to a finishing school in India. The college is in fact the British India School for Spies, teaching the family business of espionage, martial arts, Tibetan mystic arts. A School for the Great Game is the first in the Steampunk Garage series available on Amazon. We're also brought to you in part through Kitty and her store, Fair Treasures. Fair Treasures has a selection of Texas-made female-presenting costumes and accessories for steampunk and Renaissance wear, and one-of-a-kind imported jewelry. You can shop Fair Treasures at fairtreasures.com, fair spelled with an E, or on Etsy. We also have patrons over on Patreon. We want to thank particularly Jenny and Ryan Shaver. Jenny is currently looking for new work and thinking about moving out of Texas, which I can't blame her for. So good luck with that, Jenny. I hope
Look forward to hearing good news.
you start getting calls back. We also want to thank our certified aeronaut, Natalie McTavish, and a generous grant from the crew of the Airship Hot Dog, Rita and Lawrence Allen,
Who are currently overseas.
who are having a fantastic,
Yes, they
they're
are.
on a plane, but soon to be having a fantastic time touring the moors of Scotland and drinking dark beers and God only knows what.
And Rita guiding Lawrence back to the hotel over those cobblestone streets.
Ooh.
I don't think I've ever seen Lawrence drunk. That doesn't seem
No.
Doesn't mean it
in
doesn't happen.
his character. Also
be
want to
good.
thank Lawrence for the beers.
Yes,
Uh,
this is truly delicious. Thank you for the recommendation and the gift.
And we need to go back to 903
Yeah.
Brewery very, very soon.
Yes.
Okay. Is there anything else we need to add? You know what?
What?
Let me pull up the calendar here real quick because there's a couple of things happening.
Just off the cuff happening. You know, not planned or anything.
Next week, Wednesday, if you're in Austin and you're into weird puppets, the Handsome Devil's Puppets, Tremendous, Strange, and Curious is an event happening at the Glass Coffin, the Vampire Parlor, on
Ooh.
535,
Okay.
which is definitely going to be interesting. Doors open at 7:30. Showtime is at 8. Buy your tickets in advance. You can find the event on Facebook. Also, if you're in the Houston area and want to meet some of the Houston steampunk community, next Sunday, the 20th, so that's 2 weeks. Sunday, 2 weeks from now, an afternoon at the National Museum of Funeral History.
Oh, I
They are
did not
meeting
know we
there.
had a museum to that.
Yeah, I needed that.
The Houston steampunk community is fantastic. They are very active and have these monthly events where you learn new things. And
You got the artists are going, "Hey guys, you want to see a cadaver?"
hell yeah!
When do I not?
Oh, there's a steampunk job digging up cadavers.
Mhm.
Oh, grave robbing, Birkin
Grave
hair,
robbing and ragger,
rag picker, rag and bone.
rag picker. Yep, that was another one on the list.
Oh Lord! All right, so I just wanted to mention those before going out. Anything else?
Nope.
All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you again in 2 weeks. Till then, mind your gauges.
Mind your gauges.
Mind your
Yeah,
gauges.
Flavio.
So, once again, thank you for listening. You can find us again on Facebook at Texas Steampunk Connection for any comments, questions, suggestions. If you know of something happening steampunk that's happening soon, we can put it on our calendar, on our Patreon, as well as the list of over 100 comics and graphic novels, steampunk and Weird West related.
You can also email us at texassteampunkconnection@gmail.com. And we're a streaming podcast, texassteampunkconnection.podbean.com.
And if you lose it on Facebook and you want to watch a rerun of this show at any point in time on YouTube, you can go find them on Steam Chest.
And although we've made many, many jokes about Twitter, you can look for us at TX Steam Connect 1
Oh.
on Twitter.
I never use it. I never look at it. I don't know. I don't understand Twitter. Yeah, so once again, thank you very much. And until next time, mind your gauges.
Mind your gauges.